Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel for another Flea Market Finds episode, and this is stuff that I picked at an outdoor swap meet, kind of like a car show swap meet down in Connecticut on April 13th of 2024, and I got quite a few nice machinist tools at this pick. I was kind of happy to see that. I want to start out by just getting rid of a little bit of house cleaning here. This is not from this pick, but I recently went and looked at a retired gentleman's collection of new old stock cutters and end mills and reamers and taps, and he had a huge amount of them, and we came close on striking a deal, but he was firm at $1,200, and the highest I felt comfortable going was $1,000. So that's how many of these cutters he had. And on the way out though, he gave me some grinding wheels that were free. Now, I don't know if I'm going to even be able to use them. They're new old stock, but they've I forgot what the size of the arbor is on them, the hole. And he had this machinery handbook there, and I said, well, what do you want for that? He says, what do you offer me? And I said, how about 10 bucks? And he said, sure. So it's actually in pretty good condition, and this is the 20th edition, in great shape. I typically sell these for about 20. So one of the first things that I stumbled upon pretty early was this interesting non-machinist item. This is a cast aluminum sign with a built-in button for a crosswalk. It looks kind of early to me, just because by the looks of it, cast aluminum. I don't think they make them like this anymore. Don't know what it came off of. Probably some highway department somewhere in some town was removing them, and there was probably a whole bunch of these at one point, and the guy only wanted $5 for it, so I snagged this for $5. I think it's an interesting piece. I think it might be something that could be go for a surprising little amount on eBay. Who knows? Or maybe not. Another early pick that I was very happy with was this drill index right here. I tend to be collecting these now, apparently, because I haven't sold any of them and I just keep amassing more of them. This one is a Union twist drill. It says so right here on the top. It's cast metal with this enamel on it, and lots of times the enamel's in much worse shape. This one's actually just got a little bit of flaking there. It's not too bad. This is a fractional size drill index, and I got this for $5, which is a great deal. And you can see from the bottom that it's cast metal. Speaking of great deals on these little holders, this is a Jobber's drill stand made in the USA. No manufacturer's name on it that I could see. Just says Jobber's drill stand. It's a little itty bitty one. So this is for fractional sizes, and this I got for $2. Then I saw a dealer that I see at a lot of shows, and he sells a lot of different old stuff. He's even bought some stuff from me, and he doesn't tend to get too much machinist stuff, but he did have a machinist box that he sold with a bunch of stuff. He did pull some stuff out, and this is kind of like some of the stuff that was left over, and I just put together a pile of these odds and ends he had here. These are some homemade parallels. I don't remember if there were any more, but I only took these 4 because these appeared to be two pairs. I got the 2 pairs of homemade parallels. Clearly he had a 196 set, or somebody had a 196 set, Starrett 196, because this is the indicator post for it. This is the hole attachment for one. But that's all he had was those pieces there. And these 2 center gauges, a Brown and Sharp, also known as fishtails, and a Starrett. I got that pile right there for $10. And then I went back later, and on my way out, I didn't see this the first time I was there, spotted this. Again, this is also from the 196 set, and for whatever reason he had not 1 but 2 posts to go into it. So these are all 196 components here, and I got these 3 pieces for $5 more. Alright, here's a whole bunch of deals. Here's a nice Starrett number 27 catalog I got for $1. I have one of these now. I use it for reference, so I don't want to sell it. People have actually asked me if I'm willing to sell it, and I said no, because I use it for reference, and now I have an extra one so I can sell one. I got this large file for $1. I believe it's a Nicholson. I know it's a US made one. I got this nice, well, it's not really that nice. It's really faded, so it's really kind of hard to see the numbers on it. But it's an early Brown & Sharpe 24-inch combination square blade. But I only paid $1 for it, so still a good deal. Speaking of good deals, I found this nice folding ruler, and it's in actually pretty darn good shape, and it's a Stanley number 61, a Stanley Sweetheart number 61. Got that for $1. I got this Empire magnetic angle doohickey. You just stick it on to something and tilt it and shows you the angle. It's not super accurate, but it's okay. And it's got a little built-in chart in the back here to calculate rise over run, to calculate slope and things like that. I got that for $2. I got this pile of items right here for $10, which includes this cast metal hand vise, this style hand vise, which I've had quite a few of these over the years. These are nice because they've got this flat right here, so you can clamp this in the jaws of a larger vise. That's why I like these. And it's got the original large wing nut too, which is nice. And the jaws are in great shape. There's a lot going, that's got a lot going on for, considering it's part of this whole deal for $10. And also in this deal was this little odd little spring clamp. It's got an interesting little adjustable part right here. Not quite sure what that is for. And then my favorite in this whole lot of these little items for $10 is this sweet little, almost like a jeweler's, very early jeweler's vise. It's almost like a little leg vise, right? But that is either a fly tying or jeweler's vise, I would say. And then I've come across a few of these in the past, these Spec Tools kits, and this particular one is this device right here, which what this is this is a little ratcheting tool. You put the different size sockets in the holder here. When you squeeze this lever, this will rotate. So this is for like reaching down into a tight spot and getting a nut started and screwed on where you don't really have enough room to swing a ratchet, for instance. And then it comes also with a couple of screwdrivers and an adapter so you can use the screwdriver bits. It's a handy little thing, and I got that for $5. Earlier on, I went by a guy's table, and he had a bunch of stuff, and he had this mill drill laser guide doohickey, okay? And he had more than one of them, and I said to him, oh, that's kind of interesting. So let me show you what this looks like inside here. Okay, it's got the instruction booklet, right? And comes with 2, 4, 6 button batteries, which probably from age are pretty dead. And then what you do is you chuck this in a collet or whatever, your drill chuck or whatever you want, right? And this will shoot a laser beam out the bottom and make a spot right under the center line of your drill or whatever. At least that's the theory behind it. Now, how accurate this thing is, I don't know, because I mean, it really is. I think the way it was described in here is that it could be used for woodworking or metalworking. There's a picture of it in action right there. So my first thought was, I have no way to test them. The batteries are probably all dead. At the very least, I'm probably going to have to put 6 new batteries with them to sell them. So I didn't want to pay a whole lot of money for them. So we kind of went back and forth and couldn't come to an agreement on a price. I wanted a deal considering I was willing to take all of them. There's an item number on here, 21400, which makes it sound very Harbor Freightish, and it is made in China.
China? China.
Distributed by Avenger Products of Henderson, Henderson, Nevada. Manufactured for Avenger Products, laser diode made in Japan, batteries, housing, and assembled in China.
China. I love them.
It says suitable for handheld drills, stationary drill presses, and vertical milling machines. Ideal for checking angles. If you have a radial drill press or vertical milling machine and you want to make sure that your head is tilted to 45 degrees, the laser beam will allow you to line it up perfectly against a square or a protractor. Okay, whatever. So when I went back later, he had sold a couple, just one off here and there, and who knows how much he ended up getting for those individual ones. So I was able to now get the remaining 5 for $30. So I'm into these for $6 a piece. I think I'm going to do quite well with these. These next few items may have been from the same guy who was beating me up on the price on those laser guides. He had this clamp. I got it for $5. And the reason why I paid $5 for this clamp is because there's no mistaking from the shape and the size that this is definitely a Starrett V-block clamp for the Starrett, almost like Sawhorse or X-style V-block. I forgot what number it is, but I may have a couple of those V-blocks or 1 or 2 of those V-blocks laying around without a clamp, and this one's actually in good shape. The enamel's still in pretty good shape on it, so that was worth $5 to me. I paid $15 for this. He wouldn't let it go for cheaper, but it's a number 6 Greenfield, and what I liked about it is that it's got the case hardening finish on it, and the case hardening finish is in excellent shape. So that was still worth the $15 to me. That's probably about a $30 tap wrench. This, I don't know, I may have screwed up on this. I paid $15 for this as-is micrometer. It has some issues. It still has the inspection certificate in it. But what I liked about this micrometer is that it's an Etalon or Etalon, which is a Swiss manufacturer of very nice quality micrometers. And I forgot what it was on this one that made me worry. Yeah, so this is a direct reading micrometer, and it is a mile off from 0. And I am not sure how you're supposed to calibrate this thing. And also, if this is supposed to be a slip clutch, it doesn't appear to be working. The lock does work. I want to say this is a button here, actually. I think it has something to do with this. I think I remember reading that. It says, if instrument is ever taken apart, make sure that in reassembling, guide pins of fixed sector and movable sector are lined up within the guide groove as shown opposite. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, instructions for 0 setting. Here we go. Clean the measuring anvils. Check anvil contact with a slip gauge. Turn the ratchet slowly 3 times to check the pressure. Yeah, okay, so that's supposed to be a ratchet. That's not working. Then check the coincidence of the 0 on the drum with this on the vernier by means of adjusting spanner provided. So there's a wrench missing here. So this is a Micro Rapid. I don't know what number it is. Oh yeah, so that's what's wrong with this. I just realized that's why I said this is as is. This is just spinning, and it's not supposed to. So there's probably a little special screw or pin that's sheared in there and is causing the problems. So unfortunate, because that was a very nice micrometer at one point. And then he beat me up on these. Unfortunately, there were only 3. There weren't 4. But what these are precision ground large parallels made by Producto, which I believe is a Japanese company. So they're clearly marked. They're cast iron parallels, precision ground. And I think they would have been sold in pairs, so that's why I'm pretty sure that there's one missing. And there's a little bit they were a little bit dinged up on the end here, I think, on one of these. Yeah. But I don't know. I liked them. I didn't want to leave them there, so I ponied up to 20 bucks for these three. And then yet another nice drill stand, cast metal. This one is a Cleveland twist drill, Cleveland, Ohio. Actually, this one says New York, Chicago, San Francisco, and London. It's got a little bit of damage on it. I forgot where, but I did see a little chunk taken out. Oh, it's got a little dent right here in the corner. Actually, both corners are kind of dented up. Other than that, though, no major damage to it that I could see. It's a fractional. And I got this for 15 bucks, so I was happy with that. I actually told him, I said, so if you want to take the drills out, go ahead. But he said, no. He said, just keep it all together. So I got the drills whether I wanted them or not for 15 bucks with the holder. Before I move on, getting back to this little weird clamp, this is a Thomas Model 18A spherical joint clamp, and it's made by Thomas Scientific, so it has some sort of laboratory use, I guess. Alright, decided to move the show inside because it's raining. So anyways, another guy that I see occasionally, usually he sells a lot of large machinery, but every once in a while he'll come to these shows with just junk that he collects, and sure, he sure did have some, what you might call some grade A junk, but amongst that stuff I was able to find these two items here, and he very graciously agreed to sell me these two items for 20 bucks. This is a Ready Tool Company of Stratford, Connecticut, Live Center. I've never heard of this company, so I'm guessing this is probably pretty old. But the thing is, you know, it looks like heck, but it's actually in pretty good shape. It sounds perfectly fine. The bearings feel good. It's just really dirty from probably being thrown underneath a lathe from whenever. This doesn't look too bad. This looks like it would clean up. Even if it had a little bit of damage, these can be reground. Live Center this size in a new manufacturer would be pretty pricey, even an import. So I figured, what the heck, take a chance on it. And then this is a spin indexer. It's a pretty ugly looking one. No sign of a manufacturer on this, I don't think. So we may never know. It may be an import, or it could be Japanese, which of course is still an import, but of a different grade. So this is a 5C collet fixture. So if you're looking at these, what you got to check, one of the first things you got to check is make sure these threads aren't damaged. And in this case, they're perfectly fine. So I'll show you this. Draw tube goes in the back like this. You put your 5C collet of the size you want to use in this end here. And we just screw that in. You put your part in here. When you tighten this, it'll draw the collet in and clamp whatever part you want in there. Now you've got a piece of round stock that you can index to any number of different degree variations depending on which holes you allow this pin to go into. You've also got almost like a vernier type of deal on top here. And then there's a lock right here so that if the pin is out, you can lock it. So it can be a handy little fixture to have for your milling machine or grinder. And again, I'm into these for 10 bucks a piece, so not worried. Ran into a guy that I buy from pretty regularly. This was actually the first time I had seen him in a while, because of he only does the outdoor flea markets and that. So I hadn't seen him since the previous year, and he had acquired some stuff, and I went through everything he had there, put together a pile, and we worked a deal. And I don't even remember what all is in here, so this will be fun to see, remind myself what I ended up buying here for. Ended up being 50 bucks for the lot. And that included, actually that included this piece here. Let's look at this first, because this is kind of neat. So we got a nice little old wooden case. And what is in here is a nifty little bench micrometer. Little itty bitty sucker. I'm pretty sure this is a Brown & Sharp. I've seen these before and they've always been Brown & Sharps. And that's exactly what it is. This is a Brown & Sharp and it's marked right here with a patent date of November of 1894. So kind of a neat little vintage tool. It spins freely. That seems to be perfectly fine. This just turns and turns and turns. I think this is supposed to be a click type stop, you know, a click type thimble that is broken. Otherwise, kind of a neat little piece. I might keep that in my private collection. I haven't decided yet. Needless to say, these were some old toolboxes that he came across that a lot of this stuff came out of. All right, we got a little pair of homemade screw jacks. He had 15 on the pair here, but like I said, I piled it all together and he treats me right. I buy from him a lot when he has the stuff. When he has the stuff I look for. This is a nice little set of shop-made screw jacks. They've got this larger locking collar. Oh, that's not a locking collar. All right, what is the deal there? That's just the adjustment. Oh, that's kind of neat. Okay, well, that's good. So those are nice. This is a interesting little straight edge. It's a little bit wider base than what I typically see on these. Razor sharp point. No markings to speak of. Here's the Federal back plunge style indicator. Normally I wouldn't bother with these old Federal indicators, but because this is a back plunge style and it works perfectly fine, I figured why not. Here's a nice deburring tool, telescopic style. Even got a couple in the handle there. Here is a old Mauser. I thought this was cool just because of the name on it. So this is going to be German, right? Old Mauser micrometer. I've come across Mauser calipers in the past. They've usually been pretty old. Mauser dividers too, I think. But this, I think, is the first Mauser micrometer I've come across. And this actually is a pretty nice micrometer. It's got a nice big thimble. The barrel's large. It's got carbide faces on it. I believe the lock works. The ratchet works. I mean, this is a pretty nice micrometer. The condition's great. It was due for calibration in 1973. So Vietnam War era micrometer. With the wrench in the original box. Kind of neat. In case you can't tell, I like it. I believe this is a nice little Starrett level. It's an early Starrett level. I don't see any numbers on it. Got to go into the early catalogs to figure out what that is. Looks to be about a 6-inch. Another telescopic style deburring tool. This one's plastic handle with no extra tips in it. This cute little anvil, solid brass. You had 15 bucks on that. I think that was a deal already, quite frankly. Again, no markings on it. I think it's just something somebody cast and, decided to just make themselves a little anvil out of brass. This is just a clamp for probably an early Starrett or Brown & Sharp indicator stand, one of the large ones. But they're just such nice beefy clamps. Oh, this is a nice piece. This is, unfortunately, this is all I think that he had. I looked through all the drawers and boxes and could not find the rest of this. So this, I believe, is the Starrett die maker square. So there's supposed to be a blade that goes in here. And you can change the angle of the blade. And I think this came originally with 2 or 3 different interchangeable blades. There's a Starrett pin vise. Doesn't screw, but the point is kind of stuck in there. This is just a tap follower. Handy little thing. It's a spring-loaded point that you can put in a collet or your chuck, and this goes into the countersunk hole on the back of your tap wrench, or on the backs of taps if you're using the other style tap wrench. So if you've ever wondered what those countersunk holes are for on the backs of those, that's what they're for. Here's a nice Armstrong, I believe. No, sorry, this is an Atlas Press Company of Kalamazoo, USA. Knurling tool for a lantern style tool post on an early... Oh, did find one blade. Alright, so we'll put that together. Put this in here like that. And when you tighten it down, it locks the angle and also locks the blade in. So this is a number 457, and I think this is a die maker's square. But I think there was originally also at least one other blade with this straight blade that had graduations on it, I think. And this is the non-graduated dogleg blade. That's a pretty hard to find piece. He had no blades for it, but he had just this clearly a Starrett combi square head, and it's the smaller size. Oh, I was wrong. I did find... There it is. There's the straight blade. That's what the straight blade looks like. Forgot that I found those. A little center gauge here. It's a Starrett fishtail, as some guys call them. And this mystery item that he had no idea what it was. I had no idea what it was, but I just liked it, so I put it in the pile. So, anybody know what this thing is? Leave it in the comments. There's a hole in the end here. This is spring loaded, so it almost seems like when you do this that you would expect maybe a point to come out at the end there, but nothing's coming out. So, oh, wait a minute. Oh, there is something there. There's a rod that comes out at the end right here that is flush with the end when you compress this. Not that that's going to tell me much, but all right. All right, let me clear this stuff out and we'll move along.